Republican senators, all of whom voted down much needed coronavirus relief, are now attacking Democrats for provisions that were also included in previous economic relief bills under the Trump administration. We begin with Tom Cotton, senator, who in a series of tweets claimed that, this bill, it's gonna give money to prisoners. He tweeted about it saying, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, that's the Boston Marathon bomber, murdered 3 people and terrorized a city. He'll be getting a $1,400 stimulus check as part of the Democrats' COVID relief bill. He repeated this talking point on Fox News as well. Here it is.
Is that true that Dylan Roof, the guy who walked into that church in Charleston, South Carolina and killed all those people, he's gonna get a check?
Every prisoner in the United States, if they have any tax forms filed, is eligible for a check under this bill. The Democrats had a chance to stop that from happening on Saturday morning, and they voted it down. I suspect you'll be hearing more about that next year on the campaign trail.
Listen, Senator, it's so disturbing because this was supposed to be the easiest thing to get bipartisan support for.
Now, Cotton, in this rare situation, is not lying. The bill is written in such a way where prisoners do qualify for the $1,400 check. There's just one caveat that people should know about, and it's that these same Republican lawmakers who are now pretending to have an issue with this voted in favor of previous coronavirus stimulus bills that had the exact same provision. And just to give you the details of that, Daniel Dale, CNN's notorious fact checker, writes that prisoners, like other individuals, were eligible for checks up to $1,200 per individual from the first bill Trump signed, and up to $600 from the second bill Trump signed, depending on their income. Both of those bills were approved by a Republican-controlled Senate, and Cotton, of course, voted for both of them. So Woz, are you surprised at the political angling that's taking place among Republicans right now?
You know, it's quite interesting to watch the dance that they try to play as far as coming up with valid reasons for their constituents as to why they don't support direct aid to all of them. And I actually watched your piece, your segment on Jacobin yesterday as I was building a brand new coffee table, and or I was listening to it. And you talked about how this idea of bootstrap mentality is not in vogue anymore. It used to be, we could say, we don't want to do anything for fear that the wrong sort of money grubbing, not hardworking enough people don't get it. But increasingly we're noticing that Republican base voters, Tom Cotton's constituents, happen to fall into the group of people that need help from the government. So that line of talk, like, it used to work. Like, it worked in the 80s. It worked during the Clinton era when they passed welfare reform. It worked in the past, but so many people have been failed by the policies of the federal government that this line of talk, it can't work. Like, this idea that somebody's supposed to be like, I want $1,400 because 2 death row inmates got checks. That it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's just Cotton just grasping at straws, obviously.
Right, and it's not just Cotton. I mean, I've noticed, it's a continuing trend, but the Republican Party has seemed to kind of like ramp it up in recent months regarding the culture war and the fact that they're just falling back on tactics that they heavily relied on previously that I don't think have a similar effect today. First of all, I'm sure that some conservatives, older conservatives, will hear that talking point. They won't care that Cotton had voted in favor of similar legislation twice. They'll just buy into the fear mongering about how, our precious resources are going to prisoners. But I think overall, the effort to lean into the culture wars and never really provide any real solutions to the problems that people are feeling or facing, it's just not a winning strategy anymore. Think about how many people we've imprisoned. Think about how many non-violent prisoners are currently incarcerated right now. And think about how many family members, how many people out there know someone personally who was incarcerated for nonviolent offenses. I mean, in a way, this establishment has done such a great job in criminalizing so many people that the very talking points that they previously used to do so no longer resonate with people the same way, right? And so again, like they're just gonna keep relying on culture wars, Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss, the migrant caravan, like whatever they can think of, because Republicans have no solutions to improve your life. Another example was Senator Ted Cruz, who actually did lie on the Senate floor about what this relief bill included. Take a look.
The question for the American people to answer is, should your money, should taxpayer money be sent $1,400 to every illegal alien in America? This amendment provides that it should not, that stimulus checks should only go to American citizens or to people lawfully present. Now, the Democrats may say their language allows for that, but they know that the IRS treats someone who was illegally present in the United States for 31 days last year as a resident alien. And so this corrects that and ensures that illegal aliens are not eligible for taxpayer-funded stimulus checks.
The senator for Illinois.
Mr. President, the statement of the senator from Texas is just plain false. False. Let me be clear. Undocumented immigrants do not have Social Security numbers, and they do not qualify for stimulus relief checks, period. And just in case you didn't notice, they didn't qualify in December when 92 of us voted for that measure, and they don't qualify under the American Rescue Plan. Nothing has changed. And for you to stand up there and say the opposite is just to rile people up over something that's not true.
Will the senator yield for a question?
No, I won't.
So that was Senator Dick Durbin fact checking Ted Cruz in real time, and the fact check is accurate. None of this money, none of this relief goes to the 11 million undocumented immigrants in this country, people who actually do pay into taxes but don't get much in return, especially when it comes to the millions that they spend on Social Security taxes. And then of course they don't actually get Social Security protection later when they're at the age to retire. They cook, they clean your houses, they do your landscaping, they grow your food. I mean, the list goes on and on. There are no winners in that video, if you ask me, Woz. I think both parties are wrong. Number one, with Ted Cruz fear-mongering and lying about what the bill actually entails, and also the Democrats' willingness to go along with this, in my opinion, flawed logic regarding who should and should not qualify for this relief.
Yeah, the Democrats are just never good at, if you don't like the answer, change the question. They're not good at diverting the talk from something different, because they don't want to come out and say we want to use tax dollars on quote unquote illegal aliens, right? Which is just a ridiculous distinction for undocumented people anyway. But again, it's funny. Every time I'm on here, we have a Ted Cruz segment, and it's always him doing the same thing, just being as nakedly cynical as possible. He just wants to be the guy to be seen who brought a bill, who made people vote on whether or not illegal aliens should get money that they're not eligible to get, right? Like this is just the stupidest thing. It's just to try to curry favor. He's not talking about any of the substantive portions of the bill or who's actually going to get it and why they deserve it. He wants to make his no vote on a bill that has a popularity at about 68% in the country. Like this bill is extremely popular. So you see it with Cotton, you see it with Cruz. They have to come out and try to justify why they are against the American people and getting them the help that they so desperately need. And this is just an ugly, cynical ploy to get people riled up about something that a lot of people are, quite frankly, scared and riled up about, which is undocumented people in this country allegedly using up all of our resources, which is just insane. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record every time I come on here. They never, ever make these type of arguments when it comes to how much money tax breaks corporations are getting. Nobody ever said when Trump passed a record-breaking tax break, nobody said, hey, that's tax revenue that belongs to you and could be going towards helping your life, going into the pocket of some fat cat. Tom Cotton wouldn't dare do it, and we know Ted Cruz wouldn't do anything like that either. And so that's why we gotta look at this stuff for what it is, which is horse manure, Brett.
Yes, that is a good euphemism for what you really wanted to say. It's a good substitute. No, but Woz, you're so right. I mean, the corporate angle is important to bring up, but this relief bill also extends to all sorts of entities that pay nothing in federal taxes, including religious organizations, private schools. They qualify for this relief, but when it comes to literally tax-paying undocumented immigrants who don't see that money come back to benefit their lives later. No, we need to fearmonger about them and pretend as if they're a drain on our resources. Let me just remind you all that many of these people are essential workers in this country who aren't offered the same protections that documented workers get. And so to treat them as they're subhuman, to dehumanize them on the Senate floor like that is absolutely disgusting.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.